Hello and welcome to the Toku Portal podcast for Kamen Rider Ex-Aid episode 35. I am VashieV and I'm here today with
Rye.
King?
Drago. Shit. uh, why the silence?
I already said mine.
Okay, I guess we'll just continue this train wreck, and I'm Zero.
Sorry, guys.
at least I did not cause it this time like I have on every other podcast.
This is Toku Portal Podcast, and our balls were just exposed live on stream.
Dude!
So getting on with the episode. At Genom Corp, Masamune is disappointed at how small the Kamen Rider Chronicle player base is. He wants more people to play so he can be in control of more lives through the game and set the rules for the world. This is why he needs the Kamen Riders to stop treating people with the Bugster virus. Hero asks for his Title Fantasy gadget back so he can do what Masamune hired him for, but Masamune refuses to give it up. This kind of gives us a bit more of a look into what Masamune's plan is, like why he's spreading Kamen Rider Chronicle. Not just to make his company big, but he can literally rule the world if he's in control of players' lives.
Kind of makes it. I think this is a bit boring explanation. I feel it's just that if you wanted to engage the company's profits and everything else, that makes a bit more of an interesting villain. Because if you this rule the world plot has been done a lot of times.
I mean, yeah, it's been done, but I feel like he's doing this a lot more out of greed for power. Yeah, it's gonna have the same end game, but the fact that he's going through all of this just to get a couple more people, or in this case, thousands of more people, to play a game that can kill by the masses, its end game isn't very innovative, but the concept itself, I believe, is.
Yeah, that actually is true. It's just that Chronicle to me, like as a businessman, was a much better villain than a guy trying to take over the world. That I have a bit of problems with. Otherwise, I'm okay with him.
Fair enough. At least he still goes cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, so that's something they have in common.
Like his ultimate, I look at his goals pretty much the same as his son's was, just on a slightly smaller scale. You know, Kuroto did all this, and you know he got the full-on God complex to the point where he calls himself God several times. Masamune seems more in control of his, understanding of his capabilities. He doesn't want to do. He's not doing the "I'm going to be God." He's like, no, I'm just going to rule the world, which shows a little bit more that he's still in control of his faculties, whereas Dan just, Kuroto just went off the fucking rails completely. While yes, Masamune is still cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs for his plan, because come on, it's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. He's not lost his mind the way that Kuroto did. So that's one of the small differences. Like the ultimate goal is still at the end would still end up being the same thing. They would still achieve the same thing. They would control everything. But like I said, it's like Kuroto went complete left field with it, and at least Masamune's is still in actuality of what will happen.
Yeah, I mean it's interesting that they sort of have the similar complex, but the thing is like Dan actually had talent, and so like he had such
Oh, oh,
okay, yeah, because like Dan actually made all the shit that he wanted to use to control people, but Masamune like doesn't. He's just really good at because he's a sleazy businessman, whereas Dan's just a mad scientist. You know, that's the difference. So, like, of course, Dan went off the rails because, like, he just wants to do whatever he likes, whereas Masamune has like an end goal. Plus, the thing is, Masamune was sitting in jail for like a couple years, so he probably had time to think of what he was gonna do if he ever got out. Like, probably not rule the world, but like definitely like expand his company any way he could, and so like Chronicle happened, so he expanded. I mean, yeah, it's not a super interesting end goal, but like you know, it could have been interesting if we involved uh, got Foundation X involved. But I guess if we're just gonna go the other way and basically modernize Shocker, which is basically what this show's plot is. It's like taking a hell of a lot of like original writer tropes and like finding interesting ways to like put it in. Like Masamune is basically carrying out a Shocker plan now. Like the writers in this show could have just been like Shocker writers. Sort of, I mean, well, they're created in a similar way. They're not Shocker writers, but the thing is, yeah, it's a very interesting like update. Um, it could be because yeah, like this entire show is written by one guy, so like it's his interesting take on this. Plus, he also wrote Heisei Generations, I think. He didn't write Go Rider Special. That's probably why Go Riders is getting less mention in here, but like technically you could still put it into this continuity. Like Heisei Generations definitely happened. Like it doesn't have that much bearing on the plot of Ex-Aid, but like they reference it enough.
At CR, the writers are discussing Laser Turbo. Kamen Rider Laser was Kiria, who Dan killed. And that smug motherfucker is still proud of it. You can see it in his eyes. Dan suggests that since Masamune has the proto-gadgets, Laser Turbo could still be Kiria, but Emu refuses to accept that Kiria would help Masamune. I was inclined to agree as well. What do you think?
I think that Kiria's return was really good in this episode. I just missed that red jacket. Other than that, also Emu refusing to believe that Kiria would do such a thing is kind of acceptable, but he has lied before. Yeah, he has done that for good. He knows that, but still, he might at least, at least that you should give a benefit of the doubt. And I did like the fact that they thought that Kiria was reprogrammed in some way, because if that's the case, otherwise, yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, I missed the red jacket too, but I like the little symbolism from good to evil. Kiria, when he first showed up, that was just harsh. Especially after a lot of us have missed him for so long, or hated him, depending on where you are on that. The fight that was alright, I guess, but I am seriously getting sick of Dan letting his ego get the better of him, especially with Kiria's situation, because you seriously have that much pride in murdering someone, especially when they're back and could easily kill you the same way you did them. Just not really seeing where that would come
94 lives. I think he can take the chance.
Fair enough.
I guess Kiria might have those 99 lives too, because both are using level 0 gashats.
Okay.
The thing is, like, I think Dan's
Well,
levels
Dan
is
specifically built his for him. I don't think the
Yeah.
other proto gadgets work the same.
like, I think Kiryu has the nullify bugster ability thing, but I don't think he has the level 99 thing or the lives.
They haven't shown whether or not he's got the lives thing, but I know he has the nullifying thing from Gamdus when they introduced him.
That's like the whole reason Masamune brought him back.
Although I do like he took a page from his son's playbook for a change. I think one of you guys mentioned that earlier, but basically, Masamune always said that everything Kuroto and Pala did was by his design. He didn't anticipate his son coming back as level 0. Despite being able to counter it, I like that he's taking a playbook. He's taking a page from his son's playbook now, so it's tables are turning a little bit. Not that I like he's using it to his own advantage, but take where you can get it.
When it comes to Dan's, smugness when it comes to Kiria, when you think about it, involving his entire plan from start to finish, this is literally the only thing that went right. Him killing Kiria was the only thing that he had at the point that it happened, that he had planned on doing, that he has actually succeeded in doing.
I mean, he made Kamen Rider Chronicle a possibility, so like technically everything
He was killed before he could actually start it himself.
I know. That's
So-
the thing. Like he let his ego get in the way of him, and like Pallard took him out. But the thing is, like he anticipated that Pallard was gonna fight him. He just, put himself in a situation that like Pallard took him out before he could counter him. So like, I would say he got like 90% right or 95% everything in the show, because like since like fucking 0 day at least he's been running the show.
Okay,
Right.
yeah, but
Like
even then you
he's
could think.
sorry, go ahead.
No, it's alright. What I mean is that even with Chronicle, you could say it didn't exactly go his way, because remember, he probably wanted it to be a bit of a fair game, like humans and bugsters, all bets are off. Khaled twisted it for his own ambitions, killing him, making it very one-sided for the bugsters. I mean, I highly doubt Dan would have wanted it that way, so... And even with the way his dad's running it, so I don't think that... Yeah, he did create Chronicle, and yes, he died before he could see it, but I honestly don't think he wanted it to go the way it did.
I agree.
I do too. It's like, but like I said, it's like overall, it is the only thing that he lived to see that he fully controlled every aspect of. He killed Kiria. It was literally pretty much the only thing that anybody really remembers him for, primarily when it comes to the earlier part of the series, is the fact that he killed Kiria. Primarily because that was such a major event that happened to the point where it pissed off Twitter, and apparently,
They killed
Okay,
off the
that's-
best character.
Well, everybody thinks that's not really what pissed off Twitter. That was a good starting point. What pissed off
it's what
Twitter?
started it all, because it was about that shirt, wasn't it?
No. Okay. So they killed off Kiria, then they did the shirt thing. Those are the two like in the fandom people are pissed off about that.
What shirt thing?
They released
They
a
actually made a rip shirt for Kiria after he died.
Oh, that's terrible!
Yeah, those fuckers. Like, right when he died, they released that shirt. But what really pissed off Twitter, like Japan Twitter, is they made like Grave of the Fireflies reference, except they put Kiria in there, and like a lot of people are like, dude, it's not cool, man. Like, yeah, like your character died in the show, that's interesting and all, but like that's a World War II reference movie. Like, you can't just fucking co-opt it for your branding, and that's what just pissed off a lot more people. So like, yeah, Kiria dying pissed off people in the fan. that tweet pissed off a lot more people outside the fandom, and that's what kind of
Yeah.
you know got Toei into hot water. But the thing is, at least it showed Toei like a lot of people, actually pay attention to his
Mhm.
social media and shit. So that's probably what's helping the show, go as well as it is. Is like, hey, it's the writer's doing a good job. Like, stop messing with this shit.
Hmm.
Unlike what they did for Dry or Ghost.
Like, I like Kiria's look through this part of the series. King made pointed out the whole symbolism of good to evil. It's like, and even his shirt is toned down. It's still a Hawaiian shirt, but it's like a toned down color. The only issue I have with it is, at least up until this point, he's not worn it the same way he wore his red coat, just over his shoulders. I want that back. I also want his transformation back, his proper transformation. I miss his pose.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably because like he's when he does that, he's more like free and more easygoing. And then when he has like the shirt, I mean like the jacket on properly, it's more when he's serious. So that's probably why he's doing that.
My OBS disconnected. Okay, reconnected. We should be good now.
Okay, I'll just repeat. Like, yeah, Kirya coming back is interesting. Like the way most people would think he would come back is like the Go Rider way, where it's like Kirya from the end of his arc in that character type. Um, and that's what the Kirya you see in Go Riders is. So he's pretty interesting. But this Kirya is a lot more closer to Kirya early on, where it's like he's playing all the angles and he can't fully trust everyone, or at least he can't take one single approach. So him kind of being a bad guy sort of makes sense because like I think Kiryu is still a good guy, and so what he's doing is like if we all attack Kronos from one angle, he'll see it coming, and like as much as Brave being close to him would make a chance for him to attack Kronos, like Kronos has his girlfriend. Like there's no guarantee that Hero would fully side with them. So Kirya, I think, is kind of like running his own plan, which is like I'm gonna be close enough to Kronos and like attack him when I get a chance. I think that's what he told him. It's like play along.
Okay, that's getting a little ahead of the episode, though. Drago, did you have something to say?
No, he just went a little ahead of the episode, so I was about to comment on that. But it's let's continue. We'll reach there.
Okay. Cut to a park where Emu shows up as Ex-Aid to fight another bugster we've seen defeated a dozen times already. So I'm going to stop naming the bugsters. They're just generic at this point. Laser Turbo shows up to interrupt the fight, and then Dan shows up as Genom to fight Laser Turbo. Side note, Laser Turbo seems to have an actual level 2 form for Boxo Bike, rather than turning into a motorcycle like before. When questioned who he is, Laser Turbo undoes his henshin and reveals himself to be Kirya after all. When questioned why he's helping Masamune, he says it's because Masamune revived him and that doctors are no longer needed. So long as Masamune is in control, humanity is safe. And when he's done talking, he teleports away like the bugsters do. This is, like, you guys have gone over this already a little bit, but this is a huge, like, personality shift in terms of where we left him off. But this does play into a bit about when he first showed up with, like, he might be just withholding information.
Also, the one thing I have noticed, like around the second half of Ex-Aid, like after Dan's death, I think Dan has kind of taken the position of a secondary rider. I don't know, it just feels like it's like Emu and Dan's show right now, and Dan is kind of the secondary rider because Hero isn't doing much. as how a second rider is supposed to be. But I'm just saying, it feels like how Chalice was kind of the more focused than Garen in the show in Blade.
That's a good point because like basically, yeah, Dan is Chalice and like Ty- yeah, Taiga and Nico are basically freaking
Garden Lay Angle.
Garen the angle. Yeah, pretty much. That's kind of interesting.
In that case, Hero would actually be kind of like Lango in this situation because good guy going bad.
Yeah, yeah, it's a good point. Well, I mean, like, Liangle goes through so many arcs. It's kind of ridiculous. That's why, like, Blade in the middle is a little muddy.
It's still better than Blade at the beginning.
No, okay. See, I like Blade in the beginning because I thought it was going to be more like, oh, like, subversive because it's like, standard thing is like, we set up a mystery and it's like, oh, we're gonna run through this for an arc. It's like, no, we're just gonna answer this and go on. Like, it's more how modern superhero shows do it. But then, like, it kind of drops that. So I was like, okay. So then, like, the beginning kind of feels weird. Like, Blade has this weird problem that, like, okay, Blade is basically the first, like, beat the monster and collect their thing to power you up series. Whereas, like, modern shows that do that actually have like, oh, I'm beating this generic monster, but at least I get a power up or something from it. Whereas like Blade, yeah, they sort of do that, but the early episodes kind of feel so boring because like the undead that show up later are so much more interesting. Then you're like, these guys were clearly filler. That's kind of what hurts Blade in the beginning.
Well, that the fact that Tachibana is a crybaby.
Yes.
I'm 6 episodes into it, and I want to punch him in the face. He ate a puzzle piece. He ate a puzzle piece because he thought the picture was gonna break like him.
Okay, that's a really sweet moment. Screw you, man.
No, seriously though, Tachibana.
Jesus, that was crybaby.
Tachibana was one of the biggest.
Awesome.
He was one of the biggest reasons I almost quit Blade in the beginning because he was nothing but a whiny character.
No, but the thing is, like, Tachibana is the hero who's falling apart at the beginning. Like, when you start a show, you think, oh, you're at, like, kind of like the beginning or, like, the middle part of a hero's journey. But Tachibana in Blade thinks he's basically at the end. Like, he's gonna drop dead any second. So he's kind of falling apart. But, like, he does get more stable as the show goes on. I mean,
yeah, and as soon as he does, the show immediately comes better.
Kind of. Like, I wish, like, his whole, Vashie, you haven't seen it. Yeah, his whole, like, seaweed thing. Okay, I wish that would, like, a better, because it would have been, like, the perfect, like, drug metaphor, and they, like, ended that arc.
Wait. Seaweed?
Did you see Blade? King? Okay, so
the water tank.
He takes a bath in this water stuff that's this basically confidence drug that he becomes reliant on. And as soon as he gets to the point where he's like, I don't need this shit anymore, his character improves, and so does the overall quality of the show.
Like the Limitless pills?
Not that strong. It's just basically, it was sort of like the undead sort of used to use it as like a ritual thing, because they're like, okay, basically the undead are like champions of their races.
Yeah, that one I knew.
So that's one of the saddest point of like the undead is like they could be so much more interesting, but in the beginning they don't have anything. But
well, Blade gets super interesting in the middle, so it's great.
I don't know. I think it kind of gets a little repetitive in the middle, but like, to be honest, like, Garen is like my favorite character in that show, so like I can't bash him too much.
Okay, I would love to keep talking about Blade, but we really should be talking about Ex-Aid.
Yeah.
I have like 5 minutes till I can stay here.
My bad. I instigated that one a little bit.
Should I just move on to the next notes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Uh, we get a short scene of Graphite having a rough time with Game Day propagating inside him, but he endures it because he wants to stop Kronos and take back Kamen Rider Chronicle. At CR, Dan is working on a new Gashat that can beat Kronos. Puppy and Emu are on the hospital roof talking about Kiria. Emu doesn't believe Kiria would act like this and that Masamune must have programmed him somehow using his save data from the Proto Gashat. Proto shows up to again ask for Emu's help, but Emu and Puppy turn him down as they still see him as the enemy. Proto tries calling Poppy out for being a bugster who was born of a lost life, and Poppy retaliates by saying that she's devoted her given life to saving others. Anything about that exchange?
Well, I feel that Parad is actually, I feel that he's finally growing up as a character, and the reason why they still see him as an enemy, even if they have a common enemy, is because Parad doesn't give a shit about human life, and he has not understood that every life is important.
And
At least
they do really do that good analogy of like, yeah, you remember how Lovelyka died? You remember how you felt then?
I know, but like one of those things is like I wish like Peridot would have just been like, yeah, what did you feel, Poppy? Did you even give a shit? What like one of our species felt like. I kind of wish like Poppy and Peridot have such an interesting thing going on, but they're not playing on it. Like it might happen because like we got like Hiro and Taiga and all those guys and got like their interesting backstory with like Emu and stuff. Like I want the same level of shit with like Peridot, like even Dan, man. Like we got a little decent backstory with Dan. Like I wish like Poppy and Peridot's story would kind of continue.
I ship it.
Fuck you.
Well, they're both Bucksters.
Goddamn shippers.
Okay.
Zero standing rule is shippers run everything, alright?
Hey!
You hear that,
Hey,
everyone?
that's
Zero
not
hates
fair.
shippers.
I sure do.
Your OTP is a no TP.
Oh my god. Oh man. Okay.
Uh,
I
Oh
think
my god.
the best thing about that right now for me is I've got the stream running in my other set of headphones, so I get to hear that joke twice.
awesome.
Oh man.
We are super off track.
Okay, yeah, back to Ex-Aid.
Okay, so Vashie and I have been talking about off theory about Pallid, but Vashie, did you want to say it or can I?
You can go ahead.
Alright, we all know that Pallid's pretty much reprogrammed himself with human DNA now, so he can use the level 99 thing. But the theory is that what if instead of the normal route the virus takes, like Bugster takes over human, what if that's happening in reverse now? Like humans taking over the Bugster half now? Because just the way he reacts to some of the things Poppy says, like, you're starting to realize that losing life is actually possible now. You're not immortal anymore. Obviously, he's going to backtrack like that and build a wall, but he visibly reacted to that. He knows what it's like. He's basically the god stepped off the pedestal now. He's becoming more and more human, same way that Graphite's being taken over by Gemdus as we speak. He's becoming mortal, basically, and I think that conversation really showed a side of that you haven't seen yet until now. And Kiro, I don't know what they're gonna do with him besides the new form, obviously, but we'll get to that later.
I think I'm pretty sure that they're gonna make him fight Graphite. He's gonna beat Graphite, and blah. We are done.
Yay!
I'm not really interested in Hero anymore. I like what they're doing with him, but it's okay.
Okay, I was just
Like,
gonna make a shipping
oh,
burn right there, but go ahead, Vashi.
um, to further go into that theory, if you look at the way Parado has acted the last couple of episodes since, um, actually, real quick, we'll put that on pause if Drago wants to say see you later because he's got to run.
Bye bye. I gotta go.
Bye.
College is starting today.
Later,
Thanks
man.
for joining us as long as you could.
It's okay. I enjoyed myself a lot.
You're welcome.
Good luck,
Yeah.
man.
Bye bye.
And then, because if you look at the way Parado's acted the last couple of episodes since, you know, Masamune's shown up and had started basically, for lack of a better term, putting the Bugsters on a mortal platform, he's been reacting rather human. He's showing fear. He's second guessing things and everything else. It's and even with just the slight interactions like with Poppy when she said that, because he kind of looked away a little bit and he had just that brief moment of that he understands what she's saying. Whether or not he still agrees, whether or not he agrees with it is, undetermined. But he's starting to understand humanity more than, or seeming to understand humanity more than he should, with him being a Bugster. And if this happens to be what happens, it does explain several things that happen through previews and whatnot that I don't want to get into for spoilers for anybody who's not seen any of it.
Oh, jeez, those previews are like spoiler central.
When
Japan doesn't care about spoilers.
Yeah, but the internet does. When it comes to Graphite, I have a theory on that as well. We all know Graphite has the Game DS Bugster virus inside of himself. I have a feeling that it's going to propagate the way it would normally do in a human, and Game DS will be born from Graphite. And with that, you don't really have the whole risk of, Graphite actually dying because of it, because, well, Parado still has one of the Buggle drivers. He can bring Graphite back so long as Kronos doesn't use his power to kill Graphite. That's my theory on that.
I mean, it's an interesting theory, but like, Bugsters when they're born kill their host organism. Like, regardless if he's a Bugster, I don't think Graphite would survive Game DS. Like, because the thing is, at this point, like, having him around would be a pain in the ass unless he becomes a good guy. Unless like Peridot and Graphite both become good guys, like having him be just the villain and have Game DS running around would be just too much of a headache. But yeah, it would be more interesting. I mean, maybe it's gonna be like Peridot becomes more and more human, and like Graphite becomes more and more like super evil Bugster because of Game DS. That would be kind of interesting too. The other thing is like, if they go with like Peridot actually, becomes more and more human, and like, we finally recognize the Bugsters as like another life form on this planet, that'd be cool, because all the people who died could come back, but they'd come back as Bugsters, right? So maybe it'll be like Kiva style, where like, the Fangar exists. They didn't kill all of them. I mean, like, they didn't kill anywhere near all of them, right? They just learned to kind of live together, or start trying to live together properly. So yeah, that could be an interesting situation.
King, did you have something you wanted to say?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Emu and Puppy head out and find the Bugster again. And again, Kiria shows up to stop him. Emu believes that Kiria is being controlled by Masamune and that he can free him by reprogramming him with Maximum Mighty X. They henshin. Kronos also shows up to keep an eye on things, and Taiga shows up as Snipe to keep him distracted from Ex-Aid. Ex-Aid goes for the finisher, and Laser Turbo pushes the Bugster in the way. It doesn't work, as Ex-Aid follows up with a second finisher and knocks Kiria out of his henshin. Emu goes over to see if he's alright, and Kiria spin kicks him in the face. It's actually pretty sick. He explains that he wasn't being manipulated. He's helping Masamune of his own free will. He explains that when he died, he left everything to Emu. Yet Emu didn't eradicate the bugsters. He didn't stop Kamen Rider Chronicle from happening. Because he's not the genius gamer. Parado is. Kiria goes up to Emu and whispers something in his ear that Emu finds shocking, and begins walking off. Emu cries out in agony and then runs over and punches Kiria. Kronos pauses, and when time restarts, Emu is standing in a different spot, and Kronos and Kiria are gone. I covered a lot of ground there, but I'm going to focus on just the interaction between Emu and Kiria here, which is Kiria's clearly hiding more shit than he's letting on. And I don't really have any good theories as to what he might have whispered to Emu there, but there's clearly something went down when Kronos paused, because Emu blatantly appeared in a different spot, running to the spot where Kronos was. What do you think, King?
Oh boy. Okay, so off the record, a couple of you guys told me that it was probably going to be he's doing this of his own free will. I prayed to the dear Lord it was either an entirely different being and it wasn't really Kiria, but that got sidetracked earlier. I was hoping he was being manipulated, and clearly by what we saw, he is not. I do not know what to say, because that was just... First of all, quick shout out to Nico, because I liked that she was smart about what was going to happen, because she knew Kronos was going to use pause and screw over Taiga. I liked that she was smart about it and threw him a recovery. Nice. Alright, it was a little weird considering she didn't use it herself, but let that slide because it still showed she was smart. I don't know what happened with the pause thing, but I'm interested to see where that's heading, because we all know Cutie is not exactly the direct type, and he has been known to slip the truth a little bit more often than the others. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see, and I'm dying to know what he said, so if anybody knows, feel free to say.
Like, this entire scene was just amazing with from start to finish, and it went from, you know, Chrono showing up and, you know, wrecking shit with, and, you know, Nico being intelligent enough to throw that, which that was kind of lucky to be able to plan where he was going to fall for that one.
Maybe they planned it before.
I mean,
charging in like an idiot, or Taiga.
Which, you know, logically, you know, that would make sense, and it would explain how that scene even came about. Because in theory, if you treat this like an RPG, you do kind of plan your method of attacks.
Yeah, I mean, like, they were carrying the healing item, so I think they probably Henshin found something, and then Taiga... Like, I think Nico Henshin first found a healing item, and then Taiga went in to distract him, and then Nico was circling around
right,
to, like, save his ass. Yeah, go ahead.
With the Kide himself, that whole situation, it was amazing to watch. Just the amount of emotion in that scene between Kiria and Emu. Like, everything that Kiria states that makes sense. Is, you know, he died leaving everything to Emu. If you don't doubt that, go back and watch that scene. I mean, he hands him his Gashat, or his driver as he's dying. It's... What was that?
I was gonna say correct you, but you corrected yourself.
Yeah. And then, you know, for lack of a better term, Emu failed. Because the original plan was to stop all this before Chronicle, which he failed. Kiria's right. In terms of I'll get back to what was said, or my theory on that whole situation in a minute. But it was that the spin kick and the emotion is like, and with Emu, for lack of a better term, breaking, and definitively going, yes, you're a bad guy. We're just gonna kick your ass at some point. And decking Kiria was just amazing. My overall theory with what's going on here is the overall theory, because there's only a slight difference between my two theories, and it's in the beginning of it, which I'll get back to in a second. But I really think Kiria is playing the long game, where in the idea of Kiria knows what's up. Kronos is a bad guy. He knows that Kronos needs to be defeated. What's the easiest way to get information on how to defeat your opponent? Make them think they're your friend. If you want an example of that, go watch the other week of Q Rangers episode where Scorpio plays, double agent. It's literally the same idea. If you're on friendly terms with somebody, regardless of what your ultimate goals are, it's so easy to get information from people. People slip up because they think you're on their side. I don't think Masamune's dumb enough to do that, but who knows? I mean, it could play out really well with that.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's... Dude, freaking Kiria outsmarted Dan and shit. Like, you don't have to give him information. He'll find something.
Right. I mean, look at everything that's happened just because Kiria found information out. We have Mighty Maximum literally because of that.
I think that there's a bit more going on to this, though, than just trying to find a way to beat Kronos, because Prado and Graphite had a way to beat Kronos, and he interrupted it. So I feel like there's more going on to this than that.
Right. It's like, but
I mean maybe he's trying to revive everyone, and like he has to gain control of the system for that. Like, he needs the Master Gashat, right?
Which in theory,
there's no guarantee that like Peridot wouldn't just smash it to a million pieces as soon as they kicked Kronos' ass, in that first fight.
And it's like, and this would be the easiest to do so. Act like he's on the bad guy's side. Get close, and that it gives him a chance to either steal it or figure out, a way to get the Gashat when he's destroyed. I mean, there are multiple routes that this could go. But because of the trope that got used is why I have such a hard time even remotely thinking that Kiria will stay a bad guy.
No, he's not going to be a bad guy. It's too obvious. I mean, like, we have to remember, like, the whole reason Kiria got into this Rider mess is because he wanted to figure out what the hell happened to his friends and get back at those assholes for doing this to him. Right? Like, I think that's still his end goal.
Right.
Right? Because, like, okay, all the other writers, we sort of had their, like, thing. Right? Like, what does Poppy want? She's a Kamen Rider, she wants to help people. What does Nico want? She's a genius gamer, she wants to henshin, she got that. What does Taiga want? He wants to just save people because, like, he already lost. He doesn't want anybody to go through that. What does Hiro want? He wants his girlfriend back. I mean, that's kind of causing issues here. What does Emu want? I don't know. Fucking to save... Oh, bring smiles to his patients, so, like, fight the Bugsters. So, like, everybody got what they want. Like, the only way Kiria is gonna get what he wants is like getting his friend back, and that's to get the Master Gashat.
Like, but back to referencing the whole trope thing is like, because anytime anything like this gets done, where they do the muted audio, two enemies whispering, and one of the enemy character whispering in the good character's ear, it always plays out this way to where it's, for lack of a better term, play along. Because I'm not a bad guy.
Yeah, pretty much. Either that, or he really told them that, like, I deleted your 99-hour save file, bro.
I deleted your save file on Final Fantasy VII. Now you'll never remember where you were at.
You fucking bastard through this.
I mean,
Can't deny it hasn't happened to somebody.
I
see,
have
the only-
punched a friend over that.
Oh my god. See, I just thought of that two sticks animation of when Luna just overrides freaking like the Persona 4 save file. And it goes like 199 hours. It's like there's like 4 empty save slots right on top of that file. I was like, oh my god, like you were freaking smack. Somebody's face is getting kicked in for that shit.
Right. So we have the trope and the obvious answer to what's going on. At least very minimally of what's going on. Of Kiria's playing Chronos, which because that unfortunately because of the trope is way too obvious. The only possible debate with the theory is where I said why I have two is whether or not Kiria was actually manipulated or not to start with. Because we don't entirely know how that works. All we know is that Kronos can do it, and Kronos says he did not. But there's we have no proof of that.
Yeah, I think if he could control people at that level, like he wouldn't have to keep like telling Hero what to do, because he would be like, here's a new Gashat, just reprogram it to fucking brainwash Hero.
Well, we're talking about restoring save data from Proto Gashats and altering that. Hero's not dead.
I know, but the thing is, like, I don't think Masamune actually has that much skill. Right. So, I don't think he messed with Kiria. I mean, maybe he did. I doubt it, though. I think Kiria is just playing along.
Right, and he, like I said, he very may well be. But for the sake of argument, let's say he can. Let's say that's what he did, is he manipulated Kiria's save data. Because we don't know exactly how this entire process works, when Emu reprogrammed Kiria, well, yes, it could have literally done that, but it could have given Kiria the knowledge of... He could have kept all the knowledge of what happened from the time he got brought back to now, which would add to him playing both sides of the fence. And then the other obvious theory is that he didn't, and Kiria is just literally just, helping Kronos to further the cause of ending Kamen Rider Chronicle and, bringing his friend back and everything else. Because unfortunately we have the trope that pretty much guarantees at least that's what he's doing. He's not really a bad guy because we have the trope that's pretty much infallible. So, yeah, that's my thought on that.
There's no way we're gonna bring back Kiria as a bad guy, like permanently as a bad guy. Like Ryder does not have that. Like, dude, the show is going so solid with like people die, they're not coming back, and like this whole arc is, hey, we're gonna try to bring people back. I'm like, if they can't stick to that, they're not gonna stick to, oh yeah, fan favorite character comes back as final villain. Like, that's not happening.
But do you know how awesome it would be if they did?
Oh my god! I think Toei is too afraid of the backlash. But I know you're like, if they went full Ankh and like did the... Actually, no, this would be even more badass than if they actually did the original Ankh.
Right, because with this we have a good character who died, came back as an evil guy, which we've had that time and time again. But for them to number one, stay evil through the rest of the show and literally become the final boss, has never happened.
Yeah, it's...
So,
yeah,
on one hand,
they've come close.
They've come close, because like you mentioned with Ankh, it came close.
Yeah,
that was actually the original intention for Ankh, but the character was too popular that they kept him a good guy by technicality.
Right, which is where we get into the issue with Kiria, because we already have the proof that Kiria is a beloved character. Because they got, everybody hated that he died, and it was only, 10 episodes into the series?
Pretty much.
Yeah, well, he died.
And he wasn't in half of them?
Yeah, he died on episode 12. He henshined on episode 4. So like 8 episodes, not even.
8 episodes, and everybody loved Kiria.
Yeah,
So
pretty much.
it would be, I think that's why I would like to see Kiria become the final villain.
I mean, the thing is, like, you could perfectly see how it could happen because, like, I think he's playing along, but everything he says for like why he can't trust Emu makes perfect sense. Like, if it wasn't Kiria, if it was some other character, I would believe that they could turn evil. But like Kiria, like he's also the trickster type of character, so I don't think he's actually a bad guy.
Right.
But,
It's
like,
like,
I could
but
see him,
like,
I could see him turning evil. I could see him becoming the bad guy. Like,
it's like, because this is actually the first time I thought of this, despite the fact I had like a 2-hour conversation about this the other night.
mhm.
Him becoming the bad guy, the final villain, it would make sense for the way Emu reacted completely from that scene until the end of the episode, because there's one more scene after this,
Yeah, I think it's one more.
and it literally fits. I don't see them doing it because this is Toei, and they usually kind of keep things kind of more upbeat when it comes to stuff like this. To an extent, Rider has always seemingly been a lot more darker than Sentai, for obviously. But it it would fit, and I could see why Toei would want to do it, because, like I said, it's literally the perfect equation.
I mean, the only closest example of this happening is Amazon season 2. And I don't think they're gonna pull the same thing off. Two Kamen Rider shows running side by side. I'm not like they're not gonna do. Um, M. Oh, this is great. M from Amazons being the final, or like the major bad guy of season 2, and like Kiria, you know, being the major bad guy. Like, I don't see Toei pulling that off.
Right, and then you have the fact that this is the major difference for that is this airs on TV for kids, because nobody here can deny that, no matter how much of the fact that we all enjoy this and we're all over the age of 5.
Yeah, it's.
But
I don't like it's the Shadow Moon problem. Like, okay. Technically, we could do another Shadow Moon. It's because Shadow Moon didn't have fucking character in Black. He was like, hey, this important person to Black, but like as an audience, like, you don't really know him until he wakes up. So like, yeah, technically we could do a Shadow Moon, but like what you're saying is even more insane than Shadow Moon, and like I don't see Toei pulling that off.
right, and like back to the differences. I think Amazons with ES, for those who are not paying attention, is one. It's on Amazon Prime for Japan. I don't know if it airs on TV. I'm pretty sure it doesn't, with it being on Amazon.
It's getting DVDs, but it's not going to air on TV.
But it's not. I myself, with the way everything plays out in that show, I don't think that one's for kids.
It's
No,
not.
it's
in any way.
yeah. It's
It is
definitely
absolutely not.
So I
Yeah,
guess see why.
Have a miracle if you did.
So you using both of those as a parallel, I can see why Toei wouldn't want to go that route with
like
Ex-Aid.
the only show that actually I can think of that's tokusatsu that's done this is fucking second season of Garo. And that's the only thing I can think of. Oh, no, not second season. Also, second season of Zero's Dragon Blood. Dragon Blood also did it. Where it's like you take a fan favorite, or generally good character, and make them the final boss. Like, yeah, like Garo does it, but most other shows don't.
So through all of this is like I get Toei's hesitancy to do it, which is why I really feel that this is just Kiria playing the long con and all that. because you add in the fear of doing that because this is a show for kids and all that, and it does kind of set a bad message and whatnot, and then add into the fact of all the backlash they got for Kiria's death in the first place. I really think Toei would be at this point terrified to actually go that route and make Kiria be the final villain.
I don't think so. But I don't think Hyuga is supposed to be the final villain.
Like, yeah, these guys. I mean, there's probably gonna be one more guy afterwards. Also, like,
Game
aren't
Deus.
they doing some?
I expect
Yeah,
Game
they're doing
Deus to be the
something-
final villain.
Yeah, they are doing something weird where it's like see the conclusion to the series first in theaters or some shit
No,
like that. I don't know
okay. I've explained this to
what's going
Vashie.
on with that.
I don't think that movie is the true ending of Ex-Aid. I think it's just called True Ending because that's a video game term. The description
Yeah.
of the movie is like terrorists are using video games to attack people. I don't think it has anything to do with the main series.
Oh, hold on. I have to specify. Terrorist ninjas.
Oh, sorry, you're right. Terrorist ninjas.
So what? It's Arrow all over again.
That are the ninja really started to fall into some hard times.
Dumb.
Well, Takahara has a son now.
Does he? Huh.
And he does have to provide for him now. And
Fair enough.
apparently, he's not making.
So what?
He's not making. He's not making money as a ninja. So hey, the evil
So
side.
what? He joined the freaking League of Assassins.
Though.
Honestly, I would love to see it because it would actually give Takaharu character.
Good point.
What? Just because Arrow did it and then Gotham did it doesn't mean Ex-Aid has to do it. You know, enough freaking racial ghoul.
And Ryuki.
Yeah, it's super Ryuki. Maybe it's just gonna start like the Ex-Aid movie introduced stuff that's gonna build for the arc. Maybe that's what they mean is like the full reveal is just like the final arc gets set up in the movie.
Honestly, I don't think it has anything to do with the main series. I think it's just called True Ending because that's a video game term.
Yeah, probably. Maybe it's like it's gonna inspire the Gash because like Heisei. No. Spoilers
In
for
fairness,
Heisei.
we understand Toei and puns.
It's Japan.
Okay, the Ryuki movie was called Episode Final.
Yeah. And it's
If
not
that does
episode
anything for you, it aired halfway through the series.
Goddamn timeline.
Alternate ending. What's the Ex-Aid movie gonna be?
Paradise Lost, but they already did that. Shit. Dude, we could put so many freaking movie names and it would work for this. Like, you could use Paradise Lost, you could use Magic Land, Megamax. Of course, you can make a fucking game called Megamax. Oh my god, like everything. Right. So we talked like a hell of a lot about everybody else. The weird thing I just wanted to mention is like Poppy, like she's in this episode, but like you have a driver, you can henshin. Like what the fuck are you doing? Why are you relying on Emu? Like at least back him up. You know,
she
like
and
you
Nico
can.
are like the final strikers who don't let them come in until it's time
No,
to kill.
but it's
We don't
No,
need Nico
Nico-
anymore.
Nico is.
do.
So, no, they still need her to clear this.
Graphite and Pallet are still left, and we need to figure out what to do with Alika.
Yeah, that's a good point. Well, maybe we can. Who cares?
Dan can make one. Dan can just make the clear tokens. That's literally what he did for Poppy.
True. I mean, he probably needs data to do it, but yeah, he could probably make Lavika's one. The other thing is like, okay, Nico is it's a ride player, which means she's basically level 1 ish.
Yeah,
maybe
she's
2.
effectively level 1.
Yeah, but she can hold her own at least a little bit.
I know.
Yeah, because
but
she's good at
Poppy's
games.
But Poppy's a level X, which means she's as strong as Dangerous Zombie, if not stronger. Like, what the hell? She would have definitely been an asset in this episode. Why didn't she henshin even once?
Because she's in M's spot. Remember when he and Pallet fight? He had the same strength, but he didn't have the skill to back it up.
I know, but the freaking random Bugster of the Week isn't that strong. She could
Yeah,
have
but
taken that.
Columbus is always going to jump in at some point or another.
Okay,
It's
I
just
know-
what he does.
I know that I've been ignoring the patients when I do the notes, but someone actually needs to watch over the patient.
Right.
At
Why
this
not henshin
point-
and do that?
I mean,
Like, okay, Emu. Right. Okay, who showed up? Kyria, right? Turbo showed up, and Mage Bugster, right? Emu
and
could
Kronos.
yeah. Not the first time though.
Oh.
Right. The first time, Emu could have taken out, or, distracted Turbo long enough for Poppy to take out the Bugster. Like, why didn't she even try? Like, she didn't have to
Dan
win.
immediately
She could at
showed up
least-
to distract Turbo while Emu fought the Bugster.
I don't care, man. They could at least tried. They're not even trying. Like, they keep forgetting that she can henshin now. It's fucking annoying.
I will admit I forgot to mention something earlier that I found fucking hilarious.
Okay, go ahead.
When during that scene when Dan died and they did the little continue tunnel, I was waiting for just a little slow Mario raise up and he just got launched out of the fucking tunnel. I thought that was hilarious.
I know. I love how he comes out. It's like, how dare you use one of my lives?
No, I've got 94, you asshole.
I know. It's great. You know
And
what?
From a gamer standpoint, it's like,
Yeah.
what do you care? You've got 94 lives. Shut
No,
the hell up.
It's gamer pride, man. You can't.
You
play.
can die 94 more times.
Okay. To be fair, they're even now. He killed Kiryu once. He's back. Kiryu kills Dan once. He's back. We're even.
How about we kill him 11 more times, considering how many episodes it's been since then?
I don't think they can afford the budget for that CGI warp pipe. Oh,
Alright.
come on, man. That was slightly funny.
The sad thing is, my brain went to try to justify having it in the episode and how to do it cheaply.
Yeah, it's a fucking After Effect.
I'll bet you anything
No,
they spent
my
way
brain-
too much on Mighty Maximum. They can't afford much more for the warp pipe.
My brain
Yeah,
went.
it's true.
you-
With the stretchy arms. Yeah, go ahead.
My brain went. You only have to animate the pipe once. Just leave it in the scene the entire time, and every time he dies, just have him come out the same pipe. I was like,
Yeah, make
You
it
know
physical
what?
prop. You
my
just
brain
move it
literally
up.
tried to explain it.
I'd be down for a gag where, like, they're fighting Game Deus and he keeps doing that, where, like, Game Deus just keeps killing him in one hit and he just keeps popping back out.
That's the ultimate spam killer ever.
I
The
think
problem with that is, if that happens, then we're gonna get that sad moment of, oh no, Dan gave up all his lives to save humanity. And I'm like, yeah, fuck you.
Oh no,
Like,
the man that
I'm-
endangered all of humanity
yeah,
killed
yeah,
himself.
That's what I'm saying, exactly. I don't want this damn plot line. It's
I'm
too
sick and
damn
tired of
cliche. I
him
don't,
fruit looping, for one.
Smug motherfucker is still proud of how he killed Kyria.
Thank you.
honestly, if they do that gag scene, I want that tunnel launched directly at Game Deus, so he literally launches head first at Game Deus every time.
Yes!
And it's just bam, 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 bam.
oh, you know what it's gonna
Awesome!
be? Yeah, that's pretty awesome. It's gonna be end of Doctor Strange, except with Dan and Game Deus.
Gambius, I've come to bargain.
Dead,
Yes.
dead, 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 dead,
Oh.
dead.
Somebody needs to make that now.
I'm sure it'll become a meme.
Put the photo face on Doctor Strange.
Okay.
We have
Any
one more
other-
scene to go here.
Yeah.
I apologize. I kind of derailed that a lot with my theory and then everything else that came after it.
It's okay. We had a lot of talk about this episode. At Gundam Corp, Hiro is desperately trying to talk to Sake, who still doesn't have her consciousness. Masamune walks in and gives him a new gashat. Tattle Legacy. At CR, Dan has also finished his new gashat. Hyper Muteki. Kirya goes to the place where Dan killed him and remembers the incident, smiling. Poppy, Taiga, and Nico want to know what Kirya told Emu, but Emu tells them it's better not to know. Episode end.
Oh god. With Hiro's case, I honestly don't know what's gonna happen there, because of course the new form, which they're still teasing the hell out of, but I just don't think this is gonna end well for Hiro, because I mean, yeah, he wants his girlfriend back, but he's still a doctor, and he's not gonna kill. If he has to, I bet he would if he had to kill. But my point is, this is just gonna keep dangling in front of him like bait for fish, and don't know what's gonna happen if he finally does get the girl. Like Vashie said, I am just shocked at how broken that poor boy was. And I'm hoping this is just him acting and playing along, because if it's not, then that is one hell of a change for the worse. But it really does show how far the kid's come. And I like that both the father and son finished their gashets at almost the same time. It's like, you want a trump card? We're giving both of ours now, and you better be ready for it.
Like, for me, the best part of this entire scene was the side by side that they did with Emu's serious face and Kiria basically just smiling. It, like I said, it would add to the theory of Kiria being a bad guy, because it really would, because it lines up with it. But it also lines up with the fact that he knows what's up and he has a plan. There is.
I think it's the second one.
Yeah. Which, I mean, it's the more obvious solution to what's going on, considering the track record with Toei and, turning good guys evil.
Yeah. You know what's interesting is like, I wonder if that gashat was made by that team, because he basically did the trick that Peridot did or Lovelika did, which is like, hey, we're doing this to save the players and motivate, the company to help and stuff, and like the public. Is that how he got the gashat built so fast?
Probably.
Like, yeah.
Well, because in fairness, there was that. I don't know. I think it was the last episode. There was that scene where Masamune was in front of basically, for lack of a better term, the board of directors, and he's getting them on board to help get him quote unquote fix the problem of saving everybody.
Oh, wait, that was the last episode? I thought that was this episode.
It was this one.
Yeah.
Either way.
I blame Deno for my memory. But I mean, it's literally what Lovelika did, only in kind of a more asshole-ish way. Because in this case, he's not including everybody else in it. He's using inside the company to do it, which would explain why the gashat was made so fast. That, or it was in the process of being made in the first place. And
yeah, I mean, maybe it's one of the games that, remember how the Lovelika started that internal competition, probably just to distract the whole company, and then it ends up actually helping Masamune. That would be interesting.
I
They're
would
probably never going to explain it, but yeah, good head.
There is one other thing to point out with the gashat, is it's level 100.
Yes.
Well,
So,
that's a spoiler,
congratulations.
but yeah.
Yeah, and then
I thought he said it.
In
Yes,
the
he
next
did.
episode preview.
whatever.
I thought that was in the episode. My bad.
Yeah, it's fine. Dan then says, I've built a gashat that surpasses levels. So basically, it's O's versus fucking, I guess, Coast with his 100 icons.
The power that transcends infinity.
Mugen. It's Mugen versus O's.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wonder if Cake Boss was overestimating that whole power to transcend infinity thing.
Beats the heck out of me.
I don't think so because most of the writers since have done it.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of annoying that like Toei has this bad habit of like, oh, this worked, and we're just gonna slap it on to like all the coming writers. Like all the ones after Decade have started kind of becoming less themselves, especially with like the final forms. At least, at least Emu's final form, maybe it's the final one. At least it's gold, so this way Toei doesn't have to make another final form. Oh, because I'm so fucking sick of. Hey, this is a really nice final form. Oh, you know what? It's not really the final form because the final forms are gold. Like the wizard one is hideous. Like, Infinite Dragon was so nice, and then they turned it yellow. Those fuckers.
Like
At least Coast's one looks good.
I think at least with this particular series, they kind of got into I think they kind of wrote themselves into a hole with the level thing, because we had as the series started, we had the proper level progression, and
then we
unfortunately
jumped.
and then we jumped to back to doing level 0 and whatnot, and the original theory on that was okay, new game plus.
No, I thought it's prototype, because like if you make prototypes, you number them zeros.
Well, right, it's like, but I'm just in terms of like with the level progression, the original, because when they initially did bring back Dan, it was supposed to be the whole how are they going to defeat level 99? Oh well, we'll
New
use
game
level
plus.
0, which would be new game plus, all the same abilities that you ended the game with, and you start over and re-level up.
Yeah, see, I was thinking it's the prototype, which means it's got busted dev data in it. So it's basically got guard mode.
Right, which
Aside
aside from
it's not new game plus, it's a whole different technique.
right, but literally the only two things that he has for it, aside from the continues, which would be the live system, is the fact that he can negate Parato's ability to infect M.
I mean,
or
Turbo
Mo.
can do that too.
Well, and then the fact that his other ability is he can drain the levels from whoever he's fighting.
Oh yeah, that's interesting.
But that would be literally the only God mode thing that he has, because in theory,
Well-
when you think about it, Emu has God mode too.
Yeah,
He's
I mean,
literally a walking game genie.
yeah. To like level 0 was technically a test gash out anyway, because like it was ideas from when it's like original concepts that never made it into Kamen Rider Chronicle, right? And then like he probably repurposed it to fight Peridot because he knew like Peridot was gonna like become an enemy. So that's why it's kind of disjointed, but like at least it's got one writer in the show, because otherwise, holy shit, none of these levels would make sense. At least the way he's doing it, it makes sense.
Once
Or
level
enough.
50 was introduced, things got wonky.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, you can only do so much because, like, Bandai, like, hey, you have to put this toy in your thing. Okay. Well, like, we have to use it, and because it exists, the power scale just went off the fucking deep end. Like, you could have called it level 12, but it's not interesting.
I will admit there was one thing that I did, one small little thing that they did that I really liked with Kiria, because
Okay.
he was using the Protoga shots for Shakadiri Sports and for
Jet Combat.
the Jet Combat. They drained the color from them.
Yeah.
It was they were literally black and white, which fit with the Protoga shot stickers.
Okay, that's weird. Sort of. Because
It's only weird because of
Jet
Genom.
Combat. Sorry, what?
To me, it's only weird because of Genom. Genom was transformed with a Protoga shot.
No, I was gonna say Heisei Generations, the other level 3s have color. But Jet Combat it wasn't in Heisei Generations, or at least the proto Gashette for it wasn't there.
And in fairness, it's the movie. They have to make them colorful.
And
I mean,
Heisei
they
Generations
did.
takes place back in the first 10 episodes.
Yeah, I know, but the proto Gash. Fair enough.
I think at that point they were still running off the idea of get them using them.
I well,
Because
from what happens in Heisei Generations, where it's written by the series writer, and like they're basically supposed to have like unlimited potential because it takes like older writers like Final Forms to take those fucking things down. I mean, I know it's because it's a movie, but still, yeah. At least giving Kirya one of those things kind of at least evens him out, because it's like, right, you're a level 0, which is cool and all against like most people, but against Game Genie over here, you're gonna need some extra backup. Yeah. Anything else?
are we going to talk about the preview at all, or are we going to say that for when
You want to just do a
Ex-Aid starts
spoiler
back?
warning and then just do a spoiler warning and then say what we think is gonna happen?
Okay.
Well,
Go on.
Right. Go ahead.
go
Alright.
ahead.
Okay, everyone. We're probably going to be talking about the next episode at this point, the next episode preview. So if you don't want to hear anything, cut out now.
I hate the new form, at least based on the preview. I hate the new form. It looks like crap.
I didn't really get a good look at it.
The gold one or the other one?
The gold one.
See, I didn't like it at first, but like when you see it moving around with like the hair and stuff, it actually looks better than straight on. I think it's gonna look better in motion.
And that's what I'm thinking too. Is like, because I when I saw it in the preview is the first place I saw it.
Yeah.
It looked. I think because your first look at it is choppy and in the dark, I think it looks like crap. But then again, this is the same kind of the same issue we had with Maximum Mighty. It looked like shit from everything we saw of it, and it turned out to be kind of badass.
Yeah, it's
it's-
interesting. I mean, like the weird thing is, like, isn't there like a color swapped version in the movie? Like, isn't that one of the villains, or that looks basically like an orange, black, and gray version of Emu's final form? Or,
I don't know. I haven't really seen
Tyson
anything.
isn't out yet, so
But
no, not the Tyson, the damn movie we're talking about.
Ex-Aid movie, True Ending.
oh,
Yeah, true ending. I think the final villain for that is just like gray and orange and white, and it looks very similar to Emu's like super gold form here.
I think the biggest thing
I mean,
that
it looks
throws me-
better because it has color instead of gold. Go ahead. Matt.
I think what kills me, at least in the preview, is the fact that this is literally the first Kamen Rider that has dreadlocks.
I'm happy about that actually.
Not okay.
They literally come off the top
Rider?
of his head.
Yeah.
He has dreadlocks.
I mean, I was gonna say, like, we've had monsters with them, like O's, right? But like an actual rider, no.
Though I will admit, don't let them cross over with Q Ranger with this form, because Balance and Naga will probably try to steal him. He's very shiny.
So I love
Oh, that's gonna be great.
that this episode ends with Dan being like, "Yes, I've created a new Gashat," and then the next episode preview opens with, "Shit, Kirya stole the new Gashat."
Yes, it's fucking great.
that was
like a
just
joke.
an amazing. That was an amazing joke, and you know that's why they put it in, because you had the episode and they already know what's going on. They did it just to make that joke.
You know what the best part even from that is? You see him, Henshirya stole it halfway through.
Oh
like-
no.
So they used it. They were like, shit, look at our super weapon. Nobody can beat us. And then Kirya came and stole it. So that just makes it even funnier, because I'm like, my god, I want to see Dan's reaction then. Because he thinks he's like, such a great mastermind that, like, I built this ultimate thing. Oh my god. It's going to be great.
I hate it when someone steals your ultimate.
I
Has
mean,
that has
it
that
happened in
happened before?
Wizard too, but at least it made sense because he just like, all right, here's the ring. It was an interesting plot point.
Okay, so it's happened in Wizard. Anywhere else where like the Rider's final form gets stolen?
Well, like in Wizard, it didn't get stolen. I mean, it was going to get stolen, but like Wizard's like, all right, I know you want to take this thing, um, third Kamen Rider, but like, I trust you. You're a good person. You can just take this. It's an interesting plot line in Wizard. Has it happened in anything else? Well, like Kiva, because like Kivat the third just goes like, yeah, screw you, King 1986 version. Like, you're an asshole. I'm gonna help the humans now.
Oh, you know what?
What was that? Does that count?
Yeah.
Uh, Kabuto steals his final form.
Yeah. He just steals like all the other sectors, right?
Oh, I'm talking about in Godspeed Love, where he steals the Hyper
Oh.
Sector.
Yeah, it's
I-
pretty funny.
I am a firm believer that that movie is a prequel.
Oh, it is a prequel.
Well,
That's
some
the only
people
way Kabuto.
some
that's the
people
only way
don't think
Kabuto
it
makes
makes enough sense. Some people don't think it makes sense.
No, it's an alternate universe that leads to mainline Kabuto.
Well, no, the problem people have is that Kabuto hands the belt to his child self, but then in the main
Yeah.
series, he remembers his dad handing it to him. And that's the problem people have, is that they can't accept the idea that Kabuto might actually misremember that event from 10 years ago.
From when he
Yeah,
was a
see,
child.
Yeah.
I don't think it was his.
In the series,
That's
he
stupid.
when he
I
flashes
think what
back, he
happened is,
remembers his dad handing it to him, but I believe that's just him misremembering what happened.
Yeah, that's probably what's happening. It's because he's
'Cause, like,
definitely not going to see himself, and the
the-
movie came later.
The adult
So, yeah.
version just came out of nowhere. Of course, over time, he's going to think about who was there, and he's going to forget that random person that showed up. So who gave him
Like,
the
you're not
belt?
gonna remember
The only guy that was
yourself.
there.
I have a solution to that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because it's time travel and paradoxes, so it was his brain getting rid of the paradox, so he didn't remember that he
Well,
gave it to
he-
himself.
Okay,
You're thinking,
here's the
you're
thing.
thinking too cleverly. Like
Here's
that's
the
I
thing.
understand it's
You-
Toei, but
the
hey,
two
people
of
want
you-
answers. There's an answer.
The two of you are assuming that that the child Kabuto knew that was his adult self.
Yeah, see, that's the other thing. Is like, I don't think he remembers because why would you model yourself to look like yourself from the future
I don't.
unless you knew?
I
See,
don't
it-
believe
it-
he knew who that person that gave him the
Okay.
belt was, and that he just forgot
other
about that
thing is-
person over time and assumed it was his dad that gave him the belt.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. Plus, the other thing is like, Dark Kabuto is a thing. Like, if Child Kabuto remembered so well, he would have probably tracked down Dark Kabuto before that shit.
No, Dark
Um,
Kabuto. He didn't know anything about Dark Kabuto.
Yeah, I know, but like, hey, there was a guy who looked like me. Maybe I should investigate. I think Tendo would have done it. So, like, yeah, I agree with you. Like, he didn't see the face of the guy, or even if he
No,
did,
he
doesn't.
saw his
Like,
face.
he was.
He just forgot over time.
Yeah, that's true.
Kabuto may be a big Marisu in many ways, but human memory is terrible no matter who you are.
Yeah, especially because the kid was probably in shock from a meteorite just crashing through the city.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, the girl also didn't remember the scene correctly, so why should Kabuto remember what happened correctly?
Yeah. Okay. Who the hell are you talking about? Shiori?
The girl that
Not
was
gonna-
under the rubble that thought Kabuto killed her parents. Do you not remember
Okay.
this major plot point?
I know that plot point. I don't remember if it's Shiori, like, the main person that Kabuto's trying to.
The girl that works at the restaurant where
Yeah,
the other
she-
guy works.
Where Kagami works.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Kagami.
Shiori. I know, because. Okay, Shiori is fucking weird to begin with, because, like. Super Kabuto spoilers. Have you guys seen Kabuto?
Yes, obviously
Oh,
I
I know
have.
you have Vashi.
I have
Okay.
not. I'm
Okay,
starting it
so
as soon
no,
as
I'm
I
not gonna
finish
say
playing.
it
I
because
just
it's
got
the
done
whole.
downloading it.
Sorry, what?
I just got done downloading it from TV Nihon, so as soon as I
Okay.
finish playing, it's what I'm watching next.
You're
So I
listening
can't
us to
spoil
talk
this.
about time travel paradoxes and shit. You're like, shit, I gotta download that.
Yeah.
Well, no, I downloaded it. I downloaded it. Started downloading it like last week.
Yeah, I was gonna say I can't spoil this because it's the whole show.
I will probably not remember by then.
No, you will. Uh, it's not important. Anyway, so Power Stolen. Okay, Cougar didn't happen. Agito.
No.
Do we count the 3 unit?
Oh wait,
Didn't
yes. In Agito, spoilers for Agito, God just steals their powers.
Oh, right. That one. Yeah, and he can't contain it because it's from
Well,
his negative. He
they
tries.
attack him and he wasn't prepared for that, which is why he dropped them.
Well, no, he tries to absorb it, but like because it's the energy from the other being, he can't contain him in himself too. But yeah, you're right. They can't. They attack him too. Um,
Ryuki no, Faiz no, Blade no.
Five does
He-
it get stolen? Well,
Uh,
okay, this is weird because like Five's final form doesn't get stolen. I mean, the belt gets stolen a shit ton of times, but
But the
like in
final form
Godspeed-
doesn't get stolen.
yeah, but like Godspeed Love, technically, like the Emperor belts are supposed to be the strongest thing, but like
You mean
these
Paradise
guys
Lost?
steal them. Sorry, Paradise Lost. Yeah. Okay. So I guess no, not the final form.
Not the. We're talking about final forms here.
Yeah.
Agito only counts because all of his powers were packed in one.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, like Blade, they do get their drivers and stuff taken away and shit. Like definitely Mutsuki, but that's not his final. Okay, if you count Mutsuki, because he only has one form, technically he got his final form taken away, but he got it back in like one episode.
In Hibiki, the arm saber gets stolen before Hibiki gets to use it.
Yeah, that happened.
I hate the arm saber so much. That was a stupid plot device.
I know. Hibiki Red Mode is dumb too. Like it kind of breaks the whole show because then it just turns into standard Kamen Rider.
Which is what
like,
Toei
I'm
was
the-
doing, but it was such a bad move.
Yeah, it really was because it's like the whole thing of Hibiki is like we work together because one, Oni isn't always going to be strong enough, so we just call for backup. But like as soon as Red Mode shows up, it's like, what's the point? Like it doesn't matter anymore.
We should finish up
Yeah,
this
we talked about-
podcast.
Okay, let's just go. Kabuto, we talked about. Deno, does it happen?
No.
Okay, Kiva, it happens because Kiva the second chooses to side with humanity. Okay, technically it's not stolen, but whatever. Like the final villain's power up gets taken away. Like Ixa gets stolen like a million times. Okay, not that much. Definitely less than 5. I don't think they take Kiva's power.
No.
Decade.
No.
No, it's just his shit is locked away in different worlds. O's,
Double.
No.
No.
Yeah, double. I don't think so. O's no.
I mean, Philip gets stolen. Does that count? He's the important part.
I guess that counts. I mean, because we can't.
Well,
Kiva
because
to third.
without Philip, there is no final form.
Yeah, that's
pretty
why I
much
was
it.
saying Philip's the important part.
Yeah, I mean, if we count Agito as like stolen, we can count Philip.
O's, no. Well, no. He still had those. Never mind. Forze, I don't know.
Okay, technically his final form is the purple ones, and they did get stolen, except they came back to him. Because Maki gets most of them, and then he gets it back.
Oh, does that happen? I forgot.
I think he gets like almost all of them, and then like I think he has one left, and then they fly back to him because they're fused to him. Yeah, it's an interesting point. Like technically that counts, but whatever. Uh, what else?
Forze?
Forze, I have no idea. Does it happen for Forze?
I don't think so.
I don't think it does.
Yeah, Wizard it happens, but that's more that he gives his thing away.
Gaim,
it's
I know
interesting.
it doesn't happen.
Okay.
And then
Drive.
I didn't see Driver Ghost.
Okay, it didn't happen in Ghost.
Mugen doesn't get stolen, but the icons do, left and right.
Yeah, it's one of those weird things. Um, no, I don't know. Ghost. Okay. In Heisei Generations, his whole power gets stolen. So technically, if Agito counts, that counts.
Yeah, I forgot that happened in the movie, didn't it?
Yeah,
It was more like suppressed, but same thing, I guess.
yeah, it's the same thing as Agito. So yeah, technically we can count that. Drive. Whew, no, because
no, because Type Trideron doesn't actually get stolen.
yeah, it doesn't get stolen. It gets locked up and shit, but that's voluntarily.
And then if you use the alternate timeline, the belt itself gets stolen.
Right. So there's no Trider. Yeah, whatever. So it's happened a couple of times, just not so much recently.
Okay.
I mean, Chalice.
this-
Okay. It happened to Chalice in Blade because he gets his cards taken away.
Yeah. We should wrap up this podcast, though.
I have one comment to make because we kind of got into it real hard this episode. Someone needs to get Deno on the ball because he is seriously failing at not fucking up timelines.
Decade happened, man. You can't fix that. That train wreck.
Well, yeah, but I mean
I could write like I could line up exactly which all the timelines and make it one continuous thing, but it's super like, oh, only fans need to know kind of shit.
right, but Deno is failing at his job of not letting time get fucked with.
Well, maybe
I don't know. I
he
mean,
hasn't shown.
no one's traveling back in time and changing it.
Yeah, I know.
Well, if
recently,
you want,
right? So
well,
maybe he's.
if you count some of the movies, then yeah, actually they are.
Which
I know,
movies?
but recently they have.
Well, if you count Surprise Future as being the legitimate timeline
I don't know what you're talking about.
for Drive,
Drive.
Oh.
and then his son comes back to fix everything so that it doesn't happen.
Yo, have you noticed they started doing man, a lot of shit that got introduced in Kiva is standard now, especially the look, the sun comes back thing. Except Kiva, it's fucking hilarious. Because it's just Otoya is Wataru's son. Oh, it's great. But yeah, man, like a lot of shows have been started doing. Oh, your son has come back. Man, it's the dumbest in Ghost.
Man, I'd be
Kinda.
so down for a Kiva sequel with Otoya as the main character.
Oh my god, yeah. Well, it's not Otoya, but Wataru's son, who's more. You know what?
Like, same actor is what I mean.
Yeah. Well, not now. Probably a little too old, but who cares? I could still see it. You know what? He went traveling because he's like 20 something years in the future. I think he went to a Godspeed Love and Olu's future, where it's like all deserty and shit, and like he ran into AG, and AG trained him, and that's why he's all like he basically looks like proto AG. I mean AG, right? Okay.
Yeah, we should actually end this podcast now. If you made it this far, thanks for listening us to ramble for the last 50 minutes. Uh, no Ex-Aid or Key Ranger next week. So next week we'll probably talk about the Heisei Generations movie. We'll see you again next time.
Okay. Thanks everyone for joining us. Yeah, we ramble on way too much, but hey, if you're new to the fandom, this is how you learn facts about the fandom. How I did it. Take that for what it's worth, I guess. See you next time.
Later, taters!
Vashie?
I really need to stop hitting the mute button. Thank you guys for joining us for this podcast. To everybody who stuck through it all for all the rambling and random facts for Kamen Rider and whatnot. Like Zero said, this is a great way to learn if you're new to the fandom, and it's a lot more entertaining than watching Decade. Next, there are no episodes of Sentai or Ex-Aid next week. Like Rai said, we're in place of Ex-Aid, we will most likely be doing Heisei Generations. So join us for that.
Yeah. One last thing. Last week's podcast. These guys recorded it for Rider. We haven't uploaded it because we have to edit it. Unfortunately, we couldn't stream it last week, but I'll try to get it up as soon as I can.
Bye.